one's ever done it before. And I tell you, the power of this, you're going to see each country is going to say we're selling an extra 10 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion. It's going to be amazing.
Hey, so the anticipated Howard Lutnick interview just took place, and here's the scoop. Wow, Lutnick has turned into an uber bull. So you've been used to hearing Lutnick come into media interviews and suggest, hey, we're gonna have more tariffs, we're gonna make so much money, and he just tanks the market. It's one of the reasons they've basically locked Lutnick up into a closet and had Besant only talk. So it seems like Lutnick today had a job. Go on a CNBC 2 p.m. interview, which started 20 minutes early as we filmed it and covered it, and pump up the markets. And when Lutnick was told at the end that he succeeded in pumping up the markets, I want you to see the look on his face so you can kind of see what the intention likely was. I'll play that clip for you right now.
Stocks are at, Kelly, my awesome colleague Kelly Evans said that stocks are at session highs. The market, I know you don't care about the stock market, but the stock market is a session high.
So Lutnick has now come out with entirely new messaging, which could be short-term bullish for the economy and the stock market. Now, I want to be clear, that doesn't make me personally long-term bullish because I think we have a recession to go through. But over the next 3 weeks, and this is what I mentioned over the last few days as well, because of the hope that we're getting pumped from people like Lutnick, I keep almost saying not like, that'd be crazy and offensive, markets could continue to move higher. And so here's what he said. He said that TSMC has committed an extra $100 billion due to tariffs. Biden only paid them $6 billion through the CHIPS Act. True. We demanded more, and now we're going to get $100 billion of infrastructure, the largest foreign direct investment ever made. This sounds really good, but it also sounds very similar to what we heard from Foxconn in 2018, where under Trump, in the same sort of tariff-style warfare, we heard that Foxconn was going to invest $10 billion into a Wisconsin factory and create 13,000 jobs. That ended up getting cut to an investment in 2021 of only $672 million and 1,454 jobs, which is only 6.7% of the promised money or 11% of the promised jobs. So in other words, you kind of have to water down some of these big promises, especially if there's the potential of a recession ahead. Now, with that said, what he said, optimistic. Very optimistic promises. You should take them with a grain of salt, though. He says, what we are trying to do is create highly automated plants where we're not having people like sew shoes or put screws in on iPhones. We want a society of engineers and technicians that can supervise and essentially program and repair and run automated factories. Now, I actually think this messaging is actually very good. This is what we should have. We should have schools that help teach our students in America how to be engineers and how to work robots so they can do more of that manual work for us. And so I think Lutnick actually shares a very good message here. This is what we want to see. He says, if you're going to go out of your way that tariffs are going to change prices. That's nonsense, he says, because what tariffs are going to do is they're going to unlock our ability to export to other countries. Now, I'm personally curious what our American robots are going to manufacture for other countries, but TBD. We'll wait and see what happens there. Lutnick says he also has a deal done, which is optimistic. And he says, we're just waiting for Parliament and the presidencies of these other countries to approve the deals we already have. We won't say with whom it is, but we're working on the details. We're working on the process. It's all coming. He says, we're going to have incredibly smart and thoughtful plans to allow other countries to export to us, but still let our industry grow. Oh, that's too funny. I just sent out an alert to course members, by the way, during the conversation. I said, hey, pay really close attention to a reject at the 476 line on a sell the news, because this is where the interview is going on. And I sent the alert. I'm like, hey, just a heads up, when we run up here, we're probably going to reject at 476. It'll be interesting to see if we now continue dropping intraday on it on sort of a sell the news. Should create some shorter term put opportunities. Or if we can actually break through this, which again, I think is bullish for the next 3 weeks, but not longer term very excited, because again, I think we're heading more towards a recessionary environment. But anyway, so Lutnik says he talked to Apple about needing more robots. And once we have this sort of robotic infrastructure, then once that happens, then we can make the iPhone in America. I still think, it's sort of a chicken or egg problem. It's like, okay, are companies going to invest in the robot first, or do you need, trained engineers who can handle it first? Like, what comes first to do this? And then when you compare that to a recessionary environment and falling capital expense intentions, it's sort of a challenging environment to do this in. By the way, a question I saw in some of your comments was had to do with the Meet Kevin membership. The prices are going up from these levels on April 30th. So if you wanted to join this membership for 30 days as a trial, 6 months, a year, whatever you want to renew at, you lock in that price. So this price will go up. It won't be available anymore after April 30th. So I just wanted to clarify that. Like, this is, the final 2-day sort of flash environment where you could take advantage of these prices, and then the price goes up on the 30th. I saw some comments about that. Just wanted to clarify that. So continuing with Lutnik, Lutnik says, we're going to drive that factory. We're going to create this new industrial revolution, and that the stock market is wrong to basically sell off, because the stock market isn't looking at the big picture that we're going to grow American GDP through these factories. He says the purpose of trade deals is to drive our ability to export by having these new factories. Again, though, the problem is, this is pretty typical of administrations, is it's going to probably take 4 years to build these facilities that Lutnik is talking about, which means it probably won't be the Trump administration that gets to inherit the benefits of these new factories. It'd probably be the next administration or the Trump third term that inherits, the benefits of this. I don't think that's very likely to be a near-term positive catalyst that helps us avoid the recession that's probably coming, this summer. He also tells us that markets have to understand that we're going to see trillions of dollars of infrastructure. And he really takes this very bullish tone, which something else that I'm noticing is it's helping the bond market. If you look at the 2s10 spread, we're barely now above that 50 basis point shock level. We're only at 51 right now, which is really good. And the 10-year is finally starting to fall because Lutnik isn't going up there cheering, more tariffs, more tariffs, more tariffs. So you can see the 10-year from January has come down from about 4.8 down to about 4.16. My target is that the 10-year by the end of the year will be under 3%. And that's mostly because as we go through a recessionary environment and the Federal Reserve finally realizes that no, the tariffs aren't going to create inflation, we're actually in a deflationary environment. Yes, tariffs in the near term cause inflation, but if we stall our economy, we end up creating deflation and they have to print their way out of that. Well, then things start looking very good for the Fed to lower rates substantially. But anyway, so watch for this. And then again, if you're looking for those sort of, trade alerts, whether it's longer term financial analysis or near term, it is kind of amazing that during this video, the very alpha alert I sent to my course members in our app for course members, like only course members had get access to this instantaneous notification, was that watch that 476 rejection. And I'm seeing, some of the puts that we're watching already up quite substantially from that alert on that rejection. Again, that intraday, that could be a play. Over the next 3 weeks, with all this hope and bullishness, I think we could see prices move up, and that's why I advocate trailing stops. So if you're like, I want to trim some Tesla and invest in house hack, Kevin, not personalized advice, okay? Then I'd be setting like a 10% trailing stop. And if we get rally mode, fine, then you make money. But as soon as you get that 10% drop start, you're out on the portion you want to divest or diversify with, and then you can invest into something else, like house hack. Anyway, go check that out over at househack.com. Had even more investors over the weekend. I was really impressed. I've we went to a few of our buildings this weekend, and always grinding. And it's nice because I didn't even make any videos, and we still had a lot of y'all investing. So I appreciate y'all joining, and we'll give you a heads up when that round is getting ready to close. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye and good luck out there.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.